Hi all, it's been a long time. It's June 12th. This is going to be a very short video and I'm a little embarrassed about the state my garden is in, but figured I would make an update for everyone to show how it's coming. I'm only going to do the back today. I'm not going to do the front. So let's go through. These were the planters that I had herbs in before and tried to self-sow, like let them seed back in. That did not work and the mint plant's dead. I'm getting rid of these planters, they're just full of weeds. The tomatoes are coming along fine. They got hit with hail right after they got transplanted out, but they're recovering. Going to have plenty of basil this year. In this patch is beans called dragon tongue beans. Peas along this fence line are kind of coming up. There were some planted in that little bald spot too, but kind of my forever problem with planting over here is that the squirrels like to dig up. You know, whenever I dig somewhere, the squirrels like to dig into that exact same spot. So, yeah. Some of the peas came up, some didn't. The red romaine, I've been harvesting it and giving away what I can eat, but it's starting to bolt, so it's about done over in this patch. There are a couple little sprigs over in the far corner that are still doing fine. More peas. Ooh. Morning snack. This yellow flower is tatsoi, like a baby bok choy. This is arugula that, well, it was going to seed. I have peppers kind of interplanted in here, but they are not happy. They got hit by the hail, and they like the heat, so they're not really coming back right now. Just as long as they stay alive, hopefully eventually they will come back. But yeah, they got hit really hard by the hail. The cucumbers were transplanted. They didn't like to be transplanted, but they were, and they're starting to come back. I interplanted cucumbers in here and they didn't come up. I need to go through and weed this area. There's bindweed, but there's also, like, right here, beet seedlings. So beets are going to go along this row up to about where the peas are. And that's where carrots are going to start. And carrots are going to be between the peas and the tomatoes. This is more arugula that I'm letting go to seed. Just nothing else grows really well in the early spring. So having a patch of arugula gives us something. And it seeds itself, like it comes back really easily. So not a lot of work to it, so I just kind of let it go. And we will have some of that. In here, these are determinate tomatoes, so they put on all their tomatoes at once and then the plants come out once they're done. Roma and San Marzano, so paste tomatoes, canning tomatoes. Yeah, they got hit by the hail too and stunted a little bit, but they're starting to recover. More tomatoes along each stake. These ones aren't quite as happy as the ones in front for whatever reason. This has been my favorite kind of lettuce. This is Lumix lettuce. It's really pretty. It also seems to be a little bit more tolerant to bolting than the red romaine. Beets. More beets. This is a marigold, so we'll have a couple of marigolds around. There were carrots planted along this row on the right side of the pavers. Some are coming up, some aren't. Squirrels like to destroy everything. Like this little purple carrot, black carrot that just got torn out. Thanks, guys. This is an onion patch. It's mostly brown onions. There are a few red ones kind of interplanted. I had some leftover onion starts. Onion sets is what they're called, but the little baby bulbs. And the squirrels went through and dug up onions here and there, so I just planted little red onion sets wherever I saw a bald spot. And most of those got dug up. Okra, peppers, and then okra over there that's not happy. More beets, and weeds. Over here was supposed to be an okra patch. It's not coming up very quick. This is, I want to say this is elephant garlic that's going to seed. So I was thinking I might try and get some elephant garlic seeds and see what happens with them. These ones, I'm not sure. It's some kind of onion. I don't know. And then underneath here is the borage. Over in the corner is lovage. This is doing just fine. The hail didn't slow it down at all. This massive overgrown weedy spot has a couple of blueberry bushes and then lots and lots of bindweed that I need to come clean out. Raspberries are doing great. Blackberries are doing pretty good. I'm way behind on maintenance. All of the currants are starting to put on berries right now. They're not ripe yet, but we will have a big load of currants and gooseberries. That's what these guys are back here. The comfrey is about waist high. It's about time for me to chop it back, but I love seeing all of the bumblebees. The bumblebees especially really like this this kind of flower for whatever reason. They love comfrey. So I've been leaving it for food for them until some other stuff starts flowering more. Strawberries in the middle. We're getting some strawberries starting. So I might be able to get a few this year, but this patch is still not as filled in as I'd like it all to be this thick. Well, that's going to take some time. My little cherry bush has cherries starting on it. The cherry tree, not so much. The fig tree has come back, and it's growing quickly, so this should be at least as big as a person by the end of summer. It's still growing. I'm not expecting fruit yet, but it's nice to see that it's surviving here. Figs are not really known for liking this climate, but this one's going. Nectarine is doing fine. Pear, and then tons and tons of apples. Those are all doing fine. Rhubarb is about done for the season, I think. I'm just letting it, I'm leaving it so it can get more energy. That kind of ugly leaf pattern is just because of the hail. Then harvesting off of the chives. This is the garlic patch. It got much bigger than it did last year. It really likes this spot where I had buried like all of the comfrey for the final comfrey harvest last year. It ended up making really good compost. So that's good. This is a zucchini plant, and it's not happy, and it's covered in pill bugs. There were a couple other little zucchini plants starting. Like, see, this might be a little zucchini plant starting. Pill bugs have been destroying my squash. Well, everything's been destroying my squash. But so there's squash that's not happy. Egyptian walking onions are starting to form heads. So I'd really like this next year for all of these bulblets. I'm going to go through and plant them down the middle here so I can end up getting a full patch instead of this kind of like 2 rows of it. I want more. Doesn't last a very long time for greens, but I like them when I have them. More squash. Oh, this is a little Bartlett pear starting. Horseradish, we've been picking off of that. Huge amounts of mushrooms. We've been getting a ton of rain. Lots of bindweed that I'm embarrassed about. This is why I haven't wanted to take a video, is because there's so much bindweed. And it's hard. There's a lot for me to weed back here. I need to come back and weed all of this stuff too. So yeah, I've got my weeding cut out for me. But the squash in between are doing well back here. So at least there's that. This is mostly the winter squash back here in this area. I'm looking forward to having a lot of storage squash anyway. Hopefully this will be a way to have more food and preserve it for longer, so it's not just we're eating out of the garden during the summer or the end of summer and then that's it. I want to get more for my work. And then asparagus. Lots of bindweed, but the asparagus is doing okay. it's going to be a few more years yet before it's big enough for me to start harvesting, but it will eventually get there. There are a couple of bald spots in here where it didn't come back, and I might be standing on one of them. But for the most part, it came back. I think only about 3, 4, 5 plants didn't make it. And kind of this first year was going to be the roughest, and I knew that. And then mushroom logs. This is new growth, new growth. These aren't really, I really need to get a kiddie pool and like drench these things so that they'll make good mushrooms. Right now they're kind of, it's fruiting a little bit, like this is new too, and it's still moist and a little chunky. Fruiting a little bit, but it's not making the big heads that lion's manes are supposed to make. They're supposed to make these big white balls, and it's not doing that. So I need to put some effort into these if I want to get lion's manes, but it's good to see that at least some of the logs have colonized. Yeah, that's what I got, guys. Good morning, and have a great day. Take care.